Hey, what's going on, guys? Recently I've been getting a lot of traffic on the old blog, and one of the posts that I actually have on there is about my implementation of Microsoft Office Communications Server 2007. And while I'm not going to show you that simply because it's a pain in the ass to set up, I am going to show you an alternative that you can use that is retardedly simple to set up, manage, and deploy a bunch of different really cool features. It's called Openfire, and it's a Jabber compliant, or it is a Jabber server. It's based on a Java server backend kind of thing, if you want to call it that. So one of the things that you are going to have installed is the Java runtime environment on your server of choice. Mine happens to be CentOS because it is a straight Red Hat derivative, just without the branding and without their support packages. You go to centos.org and find information on that. It is freely available and it is kept very, very up to date. What we're going to do is we're actually going to deploy Openfire very quickly in what is seeming to be very commonplace for me. I'm going to show you how easy and quickly you can actually get a server or system up and running. Now, there's two real options for Linux. You can download the source, or you can download a pre-built RPM package which is compatible with Red Hat enterprise systems. CentOS being a direct derivative, it's compatible. There's also servers for Mac and PC, all of which obviously require Java runtime environment. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to check out the download, which I actually already downloaded. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get through wget, but you don't need to know that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to install the RPM. What we're going to do is RPM-IVH Openfire. Okay? And the reason I haven't showed you this before is because Openfire had a security vulnerability with cross-site scripting problems in some of their administration panels. That's been fixed. Therefore, Openfire is now on the show. Openfire is now installed. There's a little note here. You can't directly start Openfire from service start or etc init.d Openfire. The Openfire server actually installs to cd opt Openfire, and here you can actually get license information, documentation, configuration files, bins, so on and so forth. What we're going to do is we're going to go to service, if I can spell. Okay, so Openfire is not currently running, and that's fine because we just installed it. It installs the init.d scripts. It does all its thing, check config, so on and so forth. What we're actually going to do is we're going to service Openfire reload. What this is going to do is it's going to shut down what isn't actually running. It's going to close some configuration files, and it should, hopefully, restart Openfire so that it's actually running. So, service, Openfire is running. Now, what we're actually going to do is configure it. That's it. It's installed. It's up and running. You can do everything via the web interface, which is a session that we're going to open here in Firefox. We're going to go to 10.10.0.164. This could be a public-facing IP address. Probably should be if you're going to offer this as a service, which, Darren, I think we might want to do if there's any interest in it. I've had a lot of success running Jabber communities in the past for people that actually are going to use it. And port 9090. So here we are. We're on the initial setup page for Openfire. Now, I'm going to select English, and the domain is going to be Hak5 peeps.com. Okay? The admin port and secure admin port, you can set those to whatever you actually like. Standard databases connection, or you can use the embedded database. So if you've got a MySQL server already set up and running, which I do not, but probably would be if it's on a hosting server or something like that, you're going to want to use the standard database. It's a little bit faster and has a couple more options. Otherwise, we're just going to use the embedded database, which is just fine for setting up a local system with less than 50 users. We're going to use default profile settings, so you can actually integrate this with LDAP or ClearSpace, which is a product of Ignite Realtime. Darren, I know you're saying FLDAP, but there's a lot of support on the Ignite real-time forums if you want. So admin at Hak5peeps.com, and we're going to enter a password and continue. It's going to go ahead and set up all your options, and when it refreshes here and actually moves on to the next step, we're actually going to be presented with a very nice dashboard. Now, I've gotten some comments about mentioning this server in particular versus some others and how easy it is to set up Jabber servers. But the nice thing about this username and password, is it is so simplistic that really anybody without prior knowledge of any Unix operating system or command line can really set this up and deploy this with some very powerful management and plugins that we're actually going to show you right now. So the server is actually up and running. If I wanted to, I could connect to it, but first we're going to go ahead and set up a user. And the user is going to be me. So we're going to come over here to create new user. My name is Matt, and Matt, and Matt. Okay, create user. So now, if I came over to my Mac client, they provide two clients. They provide Spark, which is a Java Jabber client. You can use any Jabber compliant server, or client, to connect to the Openfire server that you want. We're going to come down here. We're going to open Spark because it's that awesome. We're going to open it, and as soon as it pops up here, Matt, the password is my password, and 10.10.0.164. And boom. I'm now logged into my Jabber server, which I believe I set up just a couple minutes ago. Now what you can actually do with Jabber is real quick, some of the plugins, some essential plugins that you guys are going to want to install right off the bat. And the nice thing is you can actually download them right from the administration panel. Plugins, we're going to come over here to available plugins, and we're going to select the monitoring service, which is really powerful. Shows you metrics based on who's logged in, chat sessions that are going on, usage of the server, really nice tools that used to be in an enterprise-only version of Openfire, but are now available to everybody. The other thing that you guys are probably going to want to install is the presence service, as well as IM Gateway. Now you can actually connect Openfire server to public, AIM, ICQ, MSN, Google Talk, all those other services. So if you wanted to deploy a system for corporate IM communications, you can actually control all that access through Openfire. If you wanted to block the users on your network from being able to directly access those services, they could all proxy in through Openfire. It's a really, really powerful tool if you're actually going to use it. A lot of people say, I'm going to deploy IM services at my corporate office or just for this community. And while they're great for the 5 or 10 people that actually use it, they really become powerful tools of communication when you have everybody on there. You set up conference rooms, content filtering, email listening, broadcast, SIP integration, really powerful. Check it out at igniterealtime.org, and you can download Spark, which is the Java client, Spark Web, which is a Flash-based client for web access, and the Openfire server. For more info on Openfire, Spark, or Spark Web, hit me up at mattlestock.com, where I'll have a complete overview and screenshots for you guys on my blog, mattlestock.com, or hit up the forums at forums.hak5.org. Now, I think Darren is doing, what are you doing? Trivia.